This video is sponsored by my second channel, AntDude Plus. Do you ever watch a good old-fashioned AntDude video and think to yourself, he just doesn't upload quite often enough? You're right, sorry about that, but also, I'm uploading more on AntDude Plus while you're waiting for big AntDude videos. Thoughts on things going on with the Switch 2, random retrospectives on niche Nintendo topics like the Splatoon single-player modes, hyping up as many indie games as I can within a reasonable time frame. And while you're about to watch a video on a big Wii Mario mod, did you know there's actually a few Mario games out there that can kind of be considered official ROM hacks from Nintendo themselves? Yeah, they exist, and I got a video on that going up today as well, so go check it out. Go subscribe to AntDude Plus, thank you so much for your time, and now, time for Newer Super Mario Bros. Wii. Alright, you wanted the intro back? There you go, the intro's back. I was just trying something different, okay? And people yelled at me. If you wanted the intro so bad, there you go, it's back. Have a good day. New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Maybe you've heard of it. You ever stop to realize that there is definitely an entire generation of people out there where this was their very first ever Mario game? I mean, currently, New Super Mario Bros. Wii is about as old as Super Mario 64 was when that game initially released, so I think that's definitely the case. I'm not saying it's like the greatest Mario game ever, but it was definitely important for a lot of people, no doubt in my mind. It could be that I'm making all this up, but it sounds right to me. So, there's a little doubt in my mind. And by this point, you have heard the usual talking points all over the place about NSMB as a mere concept. I mean, hell, I even did my own little video on it a few years back. It's relatively low-hanging fruit, all things considered, because it really is one of the most interesting series Nintendo has ever done, almost in spite of itself. For a series of Mario games that are often touted as being some of the most unoriginal games Nintendo has ever made, damn it, that alone makes it so interesting. Once the actual, quote, new wow factor of 2005 wore off, you are now looking at a set of 5 pretty uninspired Mario platformers and 6 if you want to add Mario Run, because why not? I mean, everything Mario was NSMB coded at the time. This feels like a straight up NSMB game, it's just an auto runner, so I don't know, I think it counts. And maybe it's just me, but it is a lot less annoying to look back at them now that Nintendo has finally remembered that, hey, they're allowed to inject Mario with some personality again. Wonder completely changed the entire format of how I look at NSMB as this weird pocket of time. New Super Luigi U is really the only one with its own thing with the shockingly high difficulty that the game has, but when you boil it down to, let's just say, the core 4 games, I think I've settled on really liking the 2 portable ones and only kind of enjoying the 2 console ones. The entire level design philosophy to make the co-op more enjoyable in the console games and the generally floatier play control just don't make those games as fun as I want them to be, and plus NSMBU had this weird fascination with randomly putting secrets inside of like every single wall for no rhyme or reason, and quite frankly, this game pisses me off. And no amount of Squirrel Suit Luigi is gonna change that. Now DS and 2 on the other hand just feel a lot more tightly designed. They worked around the smaller screen so the levels didn't feel as open and empty. I felt like I had more control over my Italian brethren. I like these 2. Hell, I'd even go as far as to say that NSMB 2 specifically is, quote, really good. Is that a hot take? That's my favorite one, I think. Except that, like, stupid, really hard DLC that they dropped. That almost made me snap my 3DS in half. That was really annoying. But, you know, other than that, good game. But now, if you've watched my countless videos on gaming fan projects out there, you already know where I'm going with this. Plus, you read the title of the video, so, you know, whatever. But hey. Oh, it hits every time. It's like being hugged by a loved one you haven't seen in a few years. It's so good. Now that the new Super Mario Bros. Series is basically completed, we can take a step back, look at the entire thing as this massive playground, and my analysis of it is sort of like Nintendo created this tool set that is actually capable of some pretty smart ideas, but they themselves barely took advantage of it. The fact that people only ever look towards one level in NSMBU as the beacon of creativity, and you know exactly what level I'm talking about, I think says a lot. I mean, that's kind of how Super Mario Maker took off, yeah? Nintendo went, okay fine, damn it, you keep complaining about our games, make it your own damn self. And they did. There's like a dramatic amount of content in those games that are so much better than New Super Mario Bros. Levels, it's insane. And I think this is all because, at their core, the NSMB series, these were certainly all Mario games alright, similar tile sets and music aside, these were all as bare bones a 2D platformer could get, so you always knew you were going to be in for a fun time, just never a groundbreaking time, which for Mario, Mr. Video Game himself, is kind of what you want, right? And I think seeing people put Mario 3 and World in higher regards after all these years is validation of that. I'm sure you people exist, but I rarely ever see someone say, oh dude, NSMB Wii, that's my #1 Mario game of all time. Like, I'm sure you exist, I just don't know who you are. But one of the bright sides of the Mario series, if you do a little bit of digging, you may already likely be aware of this, but there is a vast pantheon of additional adventures based on all of those classic Mario games. The Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World hacking scenes have been booming for generations with no signs of them stopping anytime soon. Not discrediting any of the work done decades ago by Nintendo themselves, but I will never not be astounded by the work that people can pull off by taking the original, relatively archaic code and creating something truly special all these years later. Yes, we will talk about Newer in a little bit, but I want to talk about some other fan projects too before we get to that. I have a quota to keep up with all these ROM hack videos. It's part of the program now. Let's get into it. Super Mario 3 Mix, a hack of Mario 3 with so many new mechanics and enemies and different playable characters and music. It all becomes a massive celebration of Mario as a whole. This is one of the greatest ROM hacks as a genre of all time. A more recent example, a plumber for all seasons, a Super Mario World hack with gorgeous new pixel art, fantastic level design, awesome seasonal based mechanics. It is genuinely a masterpiece of a ROM hack. Dude, even with Super Mario Bros. 1, Celeste Mario Zap and Dash, this implements the Celeste mechanics into SMB 1. This was clearly made with alien technology because what do you mean this is a hack of Mario 1? And yes, there is a new Super Mario Bros. Hacking scene as well, and it's pretty fascinating. You take one trip down GameBanana.com, which man, I love that website name. It's like such a weird name, I don't understand the origins of it, but I can't forget it because it's called Game Banana, reveals quite a handful of proper advancements that have popped up over the years for all 4 main games. You want to play NSMB DS but backwards? You can do that. You want a brand new cute holiday themed world in NSMB 2? Well, finally a NSMB 2 Christmas mod is there for you. What about NSMBU with NSMB Wii assets? It's an oddly specific request, but we got you there too. Doing all of this research, I really wanted to shout out one specific user, Rymia. They have been making some really cool strides with a bunch of mods like Cloudy Super Mario Bros. U2, Mario and the Crystal Crescents. There are some super impressive custom Mario Kart 8 tracks that they've created, and they've even been doing a lot of work in Wonder, which is so sick. Good job, dude. Excited to see what you pull off in the future. As for NSMB Wii itself, it definitely gets the most modding love out of the entire bunch. I mean, thanks to the homebrew channel, it feels like the Wii games were just so ripe for modding, it was crazy. Like, why even touch the other consoles? You know, the Wii is clearly the pinnacle of technology. And if you followed developments in the modding scene like I do, there is one mod that showed up recently that completely changed the entire perception of what is possible in this game beyond Super Mario Bros. Wii. Dude, look at this. What do you mean you can do this? Like, you can actually make levels in kind of 3D? Like, this is like a Donkey Kong Country Return situation. What if Retro Studios made 2D Mario? Here it is, and someone's just making it in their bedroom? I may be too early on this, but it really feels like we're about to see another renaissance in new Super Mario Bros. Hacking in the future, and I am super excited, but I did feel a little bit of nostalgia as well. I wanted to take a step back. I wanted to give the properly deserved flowers to the OG premier NSMB series of hacks and mods, the newer Super Mario Bros. Series, courtesy of creator Scowo and the folks over at Newer Team. And yes, you probably know about the main one game that we're going to talk about today, but it is in fact a series, which means that also, yes, you gotta play all of them, otherwise you can't call yourself a true fan. That's just how it works. That's what comment sections tell me all the time. Newer Super Mario Bros. Consists of 2 full adventures, one on Wii and one on DS, 4 micro adventures for the Wii, and if you're feeling even extra spicy, Newer Team also created a Super Mario 64 DS ROM hack, another Super Mario 3D. I've already mentioned another in my Super Mario 64 DS ROM hack video, and the short story is, it's really good. Like, the potential of 64 DS is actually stronger than you would ever anticipate, and this is a good example of that. I put a good few hours into another and was super impressed. So if you're interested in that hack and the other projects you can find in 64 DS, there's a whole ass video for you right there. Go for it, I'm shameless, why not? Turns out Newer Team also made a Deltarune mod called Deltarune Dojo EX. It's like this crazy boss battle gauntlet mod for the game, so like chapter 1 and 2 bosses are just like harder now. Okay. It's cool, but do I really need to play this now to understand the lore of newer Super Mario Bros? No, but I do acknowledge that I just said Deltarune, so I'm sure that excited a few people, you know? I mean, I'm actually a big fan of those games. You know Spamton G. Spamton? Cool guy. Got nothing bad to say about him. If you're so overly inundated with what New Super Mario Bros. Is supposed to be, then honestly taking a look at Newer, it can be a bit overwhelming at times. You're looking at a ton of brand new tile sets, an entirely new soundtrack filled with brand new custom music, a lot of it's from Mario's history coming in here, so it's a lot of nice fan service. A lot of the existing enemies have brand new textures, and that's really nice. It adds a lot to the atmosphere on top of the otherwise new enemies that are popping in from time to time. If you played New Super Mario Bros. And said, hey, you know what, there's not enough giant thwomp. Hell yeah, dude. Did you ever find yourself playing New Super Mario Bros. And think to yourself, the one thing this is missing is the angry sun from Mario 3, there to ruin my whole damn day, this piece of garbage, this huge piece of Pretty good level design, all things considered. I mean, you would want that in a basic platformer, right? But when you know what New Super Mario Bros. Is all about, you're gonna be surprised when there's brand new mechanics in here too that somehow made it into this adventure. And that goes beyond the platforming because there's brand new boss fights as well. You start the adventure and look at that, a brand new hub world? Like, wow, this is actually a place. Something that Nintendo throughout the entirety of the New Super Mario Bros. Timeline never got to replicate was that vibe of exploring Dinosaur Island in Super Mario World. Being able to visualize the world that you're exploring before you dive into the levels is something that I love about SMW that you never got to see in NSMB. A lot of people said that NSMBU's world kind of felt that way, but then you were just going from like grass world to ice world with no smooth transition between each of them. But here, nah, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on just in the overworld itself. When you unlock a secret path to a new area, you get to see Mario actually travel to it. It's not just a hard cut like, oh hey, you went down a pipe and then boom, it's a new area. Like, no, Mario has to swim here, fellas. That's some work he has to do. Shout out, by the way, to the Mario Wonder map. It still got its weird issues. Everything is such a hard cut to the next world. Nothing really transitions well into each other, but it's certainly a lot closer to what I would like to count as a perfect Mario map. I honestly don't know what I prefer over Newer or Wonder, but they're really good. They're a lot better than the straight lines we got in NSMB. That's all I'm saying. But then on top of that, you have overworld shops where you can use the star coins that you get to buy items. One of which is a brand new hammer suit. It works exactly as you would expect it to, but oh my goodness, it's in NSMB now. That's awesome. You got brand new bonus games like these challenge rooms where it's like, okay, get all these stars in a set amount of time, good luck. Or these music-based ones where it'll play a little bit of music on these 7 notes and you gotta do your best to repeat it. Or you even have the return of the P-switch houses from Super Mario World. You unlock a secret path to these areas, you got a fun little platforming segment right beforehand, you hit the switch and then boom, you go to other levels, those blocks are not filled out. That's cool. And there's even an additional reward for the P-switches that you're hitting because you can go back to the start of the adventure and there is a museum you can explore. One new P-switch hit means one new layer to go through, and it's just a bunch of big old sprites with text boxes in front of them. It's not much, but we got Wario included in this one, so I'm a big fan. Look at my boy. If you follow the ROM hacking scene of Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World, you already know the entire idea of going well beyond what the original game is capable of is a staple of what makes those hacking scenes so special. But to see this in New Super Mario Bros. Wii in 2013, only 5 years after the original game came out, it was, and quite frankly still is, super impressive. You have this constant feeling throughout the entire playthrough of, this was possible this whole time? And it's interesting because if you look at the Newer team's first adventure, another Super Mario Bros. Wii, it's actually not all too special. It's a fairly basic set of new levels using the existing themes, and it's a pretty fine enough time, but you can tell this was them just trying to get their feet wet for what they very clearly were capable to do only a few years later. I actually managed to ask a few questions to one of the main guys on the development team, Skawo, because I had to learn just a little bit more about how these games were made. Because base things like including the Hammer Brothers suit and brand new bosses into this game just seemed like they were unthinkable back then, but sure enough, all it turned into was they were just kind of messing around the code a little bit, and they found out they could do it. I love a good origin story, dude, that's great. A lot of these flourishes can apply to most of the games that this team has created, but there's one main game to consider, Newer Super Mario Bros. Wii. This is the one that feels like the fullest game of the bunch. There are 14 worlds to play through with over 100 levels. You got towers, you got castles, you got airships, all with unique and original themes. Yeah, the first world is like a typical grass world, but hey, it's Yoshi's Island now. You got Yoshi's, you got the fruit that you can collect, and then Yoshi poops out a 1-up. Like, that's pretty cool. And when you think you're about to get bored by the basic desert level, hey, look at that, you're going underground now into the sewers. That's fun. And disgusting, but also fun. The story is pretty simplistic. The Mario Brothers, Yellow and Blue Toad, and Princess Peach all land on Yoshi's Island, and they soon find out that the princess has been captured, one more time, by Bowser. What a surprise. That's crazy. But hey, it's a new opening cutscene. It like kinda changes the plot, like a little bit. I mean, whatever, I'm just glad this is here. When asked about whether or not Skawo and his team were able to do everything they wanted to do with the Newer series, he said that there definitely were things that they wanted to do a little bit better, but overall they were happy with how everything came out, especially at that time. Their main goal was to make a game that someone else could reasonably think was official, and if you couldn't tell by the wording I've been giving this game at this point, I think they nailed that. Man, every time you start a level in this game, there's a brand new title card and every stage has a name and you can see a little bit of a preview of what you're about to platform through. That's nice. That's a little bit of sauce that I needed in my Mario games. Traveling through a Japanese-themed Sakura village that's filled with cherry blossom trees and Shy Guy enemies, eventually you go to a snowy glacier that also has lava sections, very clearly inspired by Super Mario Galaxy's Freeze Flame Galaxy. I adore that. You climb up this really tall mountain that eventually brings you into space. Some of these worlds are genuinely trying to tell you a mini story. A couple of these areas are actually kind of like two worlds all baked into one. Like World 8 is Koopa Planet, okay? Like, oh cool, a space level, of course, why not? But eventually, you travel into Koopa Core, and it sets a really cool foundation for the final stretch of this adventure. Gives off big Skyland from Mario Bros. 3 vibes, I like that. And I did mention that there are 14 worlds in this adventure. The way it works, there are 8 main worlds, there's a secret 9th special world, and then there are 5 mini worlds. It's pretty cool. You would go down the secret pathway, and then you'd find yourself in like World A, B, C, D, or E, and it's these really short segments that are only like a few levels, but there are a few cool surprises in there. Like there's an autumn forest, and I just love autumn themes in video games. But then you have Mini Mega Island. The whole big small theme is one of my favorite things Mario has ever pulled off, and I'm glad to see that's here. And it's just such a cool set of surprises at every single turn. You don't need to beat these mini worlds to beat the game, but they do offer shortcuts to later parts of the adventure, so there is like speedrunning opportunities there, and that's just cool. Oh, but then yeah, the bosses. You do have returning bosses like the Koopalings, of course, but you also have brand new ones like the giant King Fuzzy. You got a threatening Shy Guy Samurai, the elemental Podobo duo Pyro and Cryo, and yes, even a brand new unique final fight against Bowser. This is unironically one of the best New Super Mario Bros. Games in the entire franchise. It's just the consistency and the level design that really makes things fun from start to finish. The platforming is solid, all of the star coins are placed intelligently, you got tighter level design that doesn't feel like it's sacrificed despite the existence of co-op, one of my major issues with the base console NSMB games. And even all these years later, this game holds up tremendously. For the longest time, this was like the only reason I had the homebrew channel on my Wii. Like obviously you can do things with Super Smash Bros. Brawl and you can emulate games, of course, let's not kid ourselves, but I was consistently playing this game over and over again. Like genuinely, I put way more hours into Newer than I did New. This isn't just a bit for the video, I love this game so much. But the things I never got to experience until this video are the side games. The newer Super Mario Bros. Timeline also includes 3 side games: Holiday Special, Summer Sun, and Falling Leaf. Holiday and Summer released before the main game, and Falling Leaf afterwards. Holiday and Falling Leaf are only about 20 to 30 minutes long, just a little bit of extra content right there, but Summer Sun is a longer adventure, hovering around 2 hours or so. But regardless of the time spent in them, they all achieve basically the same goal. They're mini adventures that all have singular themes. Holiday Special, I mean, I think that one's pretty apparent. It's just a lot of snow going on all over the place. You got Mario Kart 64 snow music in here. That's all nice. There's snowmen in the background now. Essentially, you're just looking at like an extra world that otherwise would have made sense in the base game, but now it's here. You got a unique set of holiday levels just right there, and the atmosphere is pretty nice. I mean, just look at this logo, man. Tell me you're not feeling festive right now. Not every bit of Newer flourishes here. You're using the typical NSMB Wii world map now. That's, you know, it's whatever. But when you go into the main game, everything just feels so nice and cheery. It was always a fun game for me to put on during the holiday season. I really like the idea of having holiday themed games. Like, you're gonna tell me to play Christmas Nights in April? Like, nah, absolutely not. That game sucks until it's December, I'm sorry. And the same goes for Summer Sun. You're already locked inside because the world is constantly on fire and it's always very hot in June and July, so why not pop on a brand new Mario themed adventure where it's constantly like a sunset and you're on the beach and you're exploring the desert at night, which is just a kind of cool look, I'm not gonna lie. And it's just a fun game. There's more to do in this one because this is the one that takes close to 2 hours to fully complete, so look at that. You're looking at a whole ass new Mario game right there. Like a third-ass Mario game. You're looking at a third of a Mario game right here. Falling Leaf is an interesting one because in essence, it's just another very micro adventure that takes roughly 20 minutes to complete, but it's all autumn themed and it's nice, and this one does use the newer base overworld, so that little bit is appreciated. But considering this released afterwards, this kind of just feels like post-launch DLC for the base newer adventure. It's not a problem. There's still some pretty cool stuff here. You're roughly experiencing one world across 3 different major areas, and then boom, you're done, but hey, more quality 2D side-scrolling Mario, you can't complain about that, you know? And it's cute because 2 of the games would have you think like, oh wow, we're unlocking another world. This game is gonna continue on, but then you got a Toad like blocking a cannon covered in construction tape. Like, nah bro, that's it. That's the whole game. Go back and do it again, idiot. But I was still so curious as to why these games even existed in the first place. Like, why did they make mini adventures like Summer Sun, Holiday Special, and Falling Leaf? Especially Falling Leaf, since they already released their main project before that. And it really just kind of came down to they wanted to. Holiday Special was because it was the season. A lot of the tools for the main newer project were being developed, so hey, Summer Sun, that's something to kill some time, you know? And Falling Leaf was used as a prime example that you can make your own hack using Newer as a base, and I love that, and I really hope we do see more in the future because what a great base you have there. So there you have it, the Newer saga is complete. We got a bit of a test game with another, we got the big bulky Newer Super Mario Bros. Wii, and we got 3 extra side adventures to bookend the complete adventure. And overall, I do think this series is just as good, if not, in my opinion, a little bit better than the actual official series. Not the hottest take anymore to talk smack about NSMB, but that's where I'm at. I know, I'm a broken record. But then, the unthinkable happened. Yeah, man, they did a whole DS game too. Years later, in 2017, the Newer team released Newer Super Mario Bros. DS. What a power play, you know? You would think with all this extra expertise, they would have made an adventure for the 3DS or the Wii U, but nah, they said we can actually do a lot of cool stuff on like the older hardware. You guys want to see? And I was like, yes, I definitely want to see. That sounds amazing. And what's crazy is a lot of the really cool stuff that you saw in Newer Super Mario Bros. Wii applies to the DS game as well. Brand new tile sets, brand new music, brand new mechanics like minecart segments, excuse me? You got a whole space-themed world in here that's low gravity too, like, okay, why not? Really just showing off at this point. There's been a UI overhaul now and everything just looks so clean and nice. You got these transitions into the stages that just look so nice and crisp. It's clean, oh man, it's so cool. And also, everything is taking place on one screen now. You're not doing the thing from the base game now where you would go underground and now you're playing on the bottom screen. Ain't that fun and quirky? Nah, everything's on one screen now. The bottom screen now just consistently has like the button if you want an extra mushroom, have at it. The Hammer Bros suit is here too. Sure, why not? Backporting brand new abilities. The ego you guys must have had making this, I swear. I respect it, I'm just saying. Now obviously being weaker hardware here, the scope is a lot smaller than the Wii game, so you're not gonna see as much crazy new stuff, but even still, that aura of like, wow, this is really possible, just permeates throughout the entire adventure. It's just now you're working with the even tighter level design and play mechanics of the DS game, so whether or not I like this more than the Wii game, I don't know, but the fact that there's even a question in my mind is crazy. Because the scope may not be as big, but the creativity still perseveres when you have things like, I don't know, in World 4, there's a sunken airship, so you're dealing with an airship stage underwater. It is something that Mario Worlds did before, but hey, now it's in New Super Mario Bros, and that's pretty cool. That's a really cool set piece. Later on in the game, when you're in space, there's a whole Rainbow Road level, which yes, may be influenced by Super Mario 3D World, but here in 2D Mario, I don't care if it's original or not. That's super fun. The game does, for the most part, lack original bosses like the Wii game had, so you're still fighting things like the weird ugly big fish and Petey Piranha is there. The final battle with Bowser's different, and that's super impressive, but there's also one brand new fight where you're being chased by King Boo in a ghost house with a final boss. That's so sick. It is just another thing that Super Mario World did that I think is really cool that I wish other Mario games did, but I don't care if it's like other Mario games, man. Seeing it in this style makes me appreciate what this engine is capable of way more than the highest of highs than the official developers came up with. I think just by pure virtue of me liking NSMB DS more than Wii, I'm gonna go ahead and say I prefer Newer DS to Newer Wii. But damn it, if I'm being completely honest with you, both these games go above the best of the official series. Like, that's just how I see it. You know how everybody just glazes up that one level from NSMBU Well, take that one feeling from that one stage, and apply it multiple times over to both the DS and the Wii games, and then boom, you have classic 2D Mario games filled with fantastic moments. I love these games. I love them so much. The Mario franchise is fortunate enough to have a ton of fan projects out there that are worth talking about in the same breath as the official ones, but you take a look at something like AM2R for Metroid, Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit for Sonic. There's a lot of Mario games that deserve that distinction, and Newer deserves to be up there with all the other greats. And luckily, all these years later, Newer still gets a ton of love from the community, so it's not like it's really needing that extra attention, but I'm just saying, if you haven't played these games before, you really should. They're super good. Next time you're ready to complain about how boring the new Super Mario Bros. Series was, take a step back, play these instead, and you're gonna find yourself some brand new favorites. And keep your eye on the community, man, because I'm telling you, Beyond is just gonna be a sampling of what the future has in store. No doubt in my mind. Knowing full well this was going to be yet another video glazing the Newer franchise, I had to ask Skawa what him and the team thought about all this positive reception. He said that there are still people that will occasionally write comments and emails saying Newer Wii was their childhood game. See, it's not just me, alright? I did feel the urge like 10 plus years later to make a video on it. This love is still happening. This is a crowning achievement. And hey, if you're making a good old-fashioned Let's Play of these games, you got a viewer right there, I'm just saying. And finally, I had to ask one of the main guys of the early stages of the NSMB hacking scene what he thinks about the current scene and if anything else is catching his eye. Of course, he has seen Beyond. I think we're all excited there. And it's cool to see that he still has his finger on the pulse on what's going on for all the NSMB games as well as Mario Wonder. There is a hacking scene developing for that too. Exciting times are ahead. But what's this? He's a little burnt out on 2D Mario, so he's working on something completely different? Ooh, I love me a good tease. One of my common beliefs with everything I do on this channel is that I believe that every single ROM hack or fan game or mod is special in their own unique way, from the super competent ones to the super wacky ones. And to me, Newer Super Mario Bros. Wii, it honestly is one of the all-time greats. It's always impressive when a large-scale fan project comes out that's based on an existing game, but massive respect to Newer is deserved because it was the first. And when you take a look at the entire new Super Mario Bros. Franchise in its own little bubble, I would argue that Newer is one of the best contributions made to the Mario franchise, despite being fan-made. I'm not here to argue that. I'm just here to enjoy Mario games, alright? Let me live. www.newerteam.com. First off, thank you so much to Skawo for answering some of my questions. I know you are hard at work at a brand new project, and it's a bit of a tease. We don't know exactly what that's going to be yet, but I'm excited for your future. You're very talented, you and your whole team, so good luck to you in all of your endeavors. But let's wrap this up. It really wasn't all too long ago when Nintendo was lacking so much soul when it comes to the Mario franchise. It wasn't really until the movie and Wonder when they decided, oh yeah, we can do something with this relatively controversy-free little Italian. We can do something special here. But that entire time when Mario was super bland, the fan projects, as expected, were picking up the slack, and that's where the good stuff was. It's a tale as old as time. And with wording like that, you may think to yourself that perhaps I am romanticizing a mod of a Wii game just a little bit too much, especially one that's over 10 years old. Like, maybe I'm going a little bit too far with glazing this one project, and to that I say, yeah, probably, you're probably onto something there.